Lesson 10, Part 5, Demonstrative Adjectives and Pronouns. One of the few times that English uses an adjective as a substantive is with demonstrative pronouns. In English, the word this, that, these, and those can either be used as adjectives or pronouns, which are sort of like substantive adjectives. They can stand alone. Consider the following. This is my book. Here, it's a demonstrative pronoun, which is equivalent to a Greek substantive adjective. This book is mine. Here, this is a demonstrative adjective, not a demonstrative pronoun, because there's actually a noun there for it to be describing. That is my book. Demonstrative pronoun, which equals a substantive adjective in Greek. That book is mine. That is a demonstrative adjective here. These books are mine. Sorry, these are my books. These books are mine. Those are my books. Those books are mine. So each of these words, this, that, these, and those, depending on how it's used in the sentence in English, can either be a demonstrative adjective or it can be a demonstrative pronoun. The difference in English is whether or not there's a noun there for it to be describing, because we sort of don't really technically have substantive adjectives in English. We call them pronouns when they stand by themselves, even though really it's a substantive adjective. In Greek, houtos, this and these, and ekainos, that and those, can be either used as regular adjectives, attributive, or as substantives. So they equate to demonstrative adjectives or demonstrative pronouns, depend on if they're used attributively or substantively, with a noun or without a noun. Now notice, this and these, this is singular, these is plural. They're things that are close. Ekainos is that and those, that is singular, those is plural. That's things that are far away. So if you want to use some hand motions, I find that extremely helpful. Houtos is close, so I point to myself. Ekainos is far, so I point far away. Houtos close, ekainos far. That can help you keep these two separate because they're easy to confuse because you learn them together. Now, there is a very important note though. Let me finish this sentence. However, houtos and ekainos will never have the article, but they are never used predicatively. Never, 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 never used predicatively, but they never have a definite article either. They're always attributive. They just don't ever get a definite article. So don't let that confuse you. They can't really be used predicatively. Regardless of the lack of an article, they will be either attributive or attributive substantive. When they are used substantively, they don't need man, woman, or thing supplied unless the sentence is really awkward without it. The declension of ekainos is almost exactly like that of first, second declension adjectives, with the exception of the neuter, nominative, and accusative, where it looks more like the definite article. So it looks like this: ekainos, ekainu, ekaino, ekainon, ekanoi, ekainon, ekanois, ekanous. Exactly like we would expect. Same for the feminine, exactly like we would expect. But there's no new here like we find in all of our second declension neuter nouns and our first, second declension adjectives. It looks more like the definite article here, which doesn't have a new. We'll actually find there are some adjectives that don't get the new there and some that do. Having the new is sort of the default, but especially like pronouns and words like that, it can be common to not have that new there. Now over here we do have the alphas just like normal. That sort of goes with, that's sort of normal anyway. Same way that the definite article does it, same way that the adjective does it. So nothing too weird over there. All right, now houtos, unfortunately, is much, much, much more irregular. It is probably one of the most irregular words you will ever see. The last part almost totally follows the definite article, except in the masculine singular nominative. Now, I'm going to pop up the rules and show the rest of the rules and show the whole thing so we can look at this one piece at a time. Okay, if you look at the endings, skip this one. To, to, ton, that looks just like the definite article. A, taste, te, tain, looks just like the definite article. Ta, to, to, ta, looks just like the definite article. Same thing over here. Now, these don't have rough breathings because you can't have a rough breathing in the middle of a word. So don't let that throw you. Can't have a rough breathing in the middle of a word. The one that is an exception to that part is as right here. That follows sort of more like a noun or an adjective where we actually have that as ending, but you'll notice there's no new over here. It looks just like the definite article at the end, including all the towels. Looks just like a definite article. Now, also notice that the to and the tau at the beginnings. Tau is used if there's an alpha or eta in the endings. To is used everywhere else. So with the exception of these two places and these two places, exactly where all the exceptions come in the definite article, with the exception of those, we have twos and we have towels, and twos, a two and some towels, a towel, some twos, and a towel. When do we use which one? Okay. If there is an eta or an alpha, eta, we have a tau. If there's an eta or an alpha, alpha, there's a tau. Alpha, because it's neuter, plural, nominative, and accusative, it has the alpha. Doesn't matter that it's neuter. The rule is not neuter or feminine or masculine. It doesn't have to do with the gender. It has to do with the ending. The ending has an alpha, so it's going to be a tau. Tau, because it's alpha. Anything else is going to be oo. No alpha or eta, two. No alpha or eta, two. No alpha or eta, two. No alphas or etas, two. No alphas or etas, two. No alpha or eta, even though it's feminine, it's two. No alphas or etas, two. Now, there are some other irregularities you'll notice. Masculine and feminine in the nominative, both in the singular and plural. There's no tau at the beginning, but it sort of follows the same rule with oo and ow here. We have oo with no eta or alpha. We have ow with an eta. We have oo with no eta or alpha. We have ow with an alpha. Now do note there is this random tau afterwards. It's just the way that it is, so just watch out for that, but there's no tau at the beginning for those. Just like with the definite article, there's no tau at the beginning for these four places either. And you'll notice it's all rough breathings. All rough breathings. That's going to be extremely important with this one right here, how te, and this one right here, how tai. There are going to be some forms of a word you learn soon where the only difference for those two is the breathing. The breathing will go the opposite direction. It'll be a smooth breathing. It'll be a totally different word. So pay very close attention to that rough breathing right there. That's very, very important. All right, let me sum that all up again. You're going to start with the end being the definite article with the exception of this as right here. Then for these four, it would be good to add in your tau. Then you'll go through, except for those four special spots, you'll put in twos or put in tau's, depending on if there's an alpha or an eta in the ending or not. Then you can go back, put the oo's and ows without the tau's here and put in your rough breathings. That should help you form all of these forms for this word. Now note, here's sort of how this stuff goes in a sentence. If you have a sentence with hutas and a noun in the nominative with a form of a me, hutas will be the subject and the other noun will be the predicate nominative. In that case, hutas will agree with the predicate nominative in gender, number, and case. So hutas esti ha anthropas. This is the man. We wouldn't want to say the man is this. That's just really, really weird. The rule, if you'll remember way back, I don't think I put it in here. The rule is first, is there a pronoun? Now, up until now, we haven't had any pronouns. When you're trying to figure out which word is the subject and which is the predicate nominative, the first question, the first thing that gets priority is there a pronoun? If there's a pronoun, the pronoun is the subject. If there's not a pronoun, then you ask yourself which one has a definite article, and the one that has a definite article will be the subject. But here we have a pronoun, so we don't even need to get to number two. If there's no pronoun and if there's nothing with a definite article, then we say which one is the one we were already talking about in the sentence or in the context, or which one makes more sense. But here we have one that's a pronoun, so the pronoun, it gets the priority, it's the subject. Tu ta esti ta ergon. This is the work. Again, we have a pronoun, so the pronoun is going to be the sentence, but you'll notice it matches the predicate nominative because that's what it's talking about. It just comes before its antecedent, if you've heard that word before, the word that it refers back to. Haute esti he aletheia. This is the truth. It's a pronoun, so it has to be the subject. That leaves our noun for the predicate nominative. It's feminine singular nominative. This is feminine singular nominative. Ha anthropos esti hutas. Doesn't matter that it comes at the end, it's still the subject because it's the pronoun. Same thing here, even though they're at the end, they're still the subjects because they're pronouns. Summary. Hutas and ekenas are never used predicatively. If you have a sentence with hutas and a noun in the nominative with a form of a me, hutas will be the subject. And just by way of note, you'll notice there were a couple that were typed wrong in here where there was a smooth breathing. There's never supposed to be a smooth breathing on hutas. It's always a rough breathing hutas.